What is fashion? We use a word as if it were self-evident, as if it named the clothes we wear, the industry that produces them, and the creativity that drives it all. But the more we use a word fashion, the less precise it becomes. It is a case of semantic satiation, repetition draining a word of sense. If clothing answers to a need, and creation begins somewhere beyond that need, then fashion sits uneasily in between. A word that now describes everything, yet defines nothing. The word fashion comes from the Latin facere, meaning to make or to do. Its earliest uses in English, around the 14th century, did not refer to clothing, but to a way of making, a manner of doing, or a particular form. Only later it became associated with dress. This ambiguity is not unique to English. In French, mode, in Spanish and Italian, moda, they all descend from the Latin modus, signifying measure or manner. Across these languages, the idea remains consistent, a manner of being, a way of dressing, and a prevailing tendency. Across these languages, the idea remains consistent. They describe what it's worn, how it circulates, and how it changes, but never how it comes into being. Linguistically, the vocabulary of fashion has always pointed to the adoption of silhouettes, but not the genesis, a word that describes everything, yet it defines nothing. If we return to the realm of basic needs, clothing aligns to food and to shelter. They all three serve survival. The world of food has developed an intricate taxonomy. We can distinguish between ingredients, nourishment, cuisine, gastronomy, and art. Each term names a specific layer of meaning, from sustenance to creation. In dress, we lack that precision. The word fashion stretches across a whole spectrum, from the fabric that covers the body to the systems that produce novelty. We have one word where there should be many. In cuisine, creation exists on multiple planes. There is the home-cooked meal, familiar, functional, rooted in daily life. There is traditional and regional cuisine, codified over generations, carrying knowledge, ritual, identity, and haute cuisine builds upon this foundation, introducing authorship, precision, and deliberate artistry. Experimental gastronomy pushes the boundaries further, while industrialized food standardizes and circulates mass formulas, and each level has its own vocabulary, ethics, and claim to authorship. But fashion mirrors this spectrum. Home sewing reflects the personal functional labor of home cooking. Traditional garments, from kimonos, saris, and huipiles, embody centuries of knowledge, ritual, and cultural meaning. Fashion design introduces authorship, experimentation. It is the haute cuisine of dress. While speculative design, the avant-garde, aligns with conceptual innovation as molecular food. Fast fashion as industrialized food mass-produces garments with little regard of cultural context and creative authorship. Yet, all of this collapses under the word fashion, flattening distinctions between necessity, tradition, invention, and circulation. To understand creation in dress, we must first name what the word refuses to distinguish. And here is a paradox. If fashion refers to a way of dressing that speaks to everyone, then it is at once universal and reductive. Every person, every culture, every moment in history has its own way of dressing. An ensemble of choices, customs, and constraints that express belonging or difference. By this logic, everything could be called fashion. But if everything is fashion, then nothing is fashion. The word folds in on itself, gesturing towards the universal and the particular all at once. A global system of creation and commerce, and the everyday personal practice of getting dressed. When a word expands to mean everything, it loses its precision and perhaps its purpose. This is the first trace, a fragment of a system that hides more than it reveals. Fashion points into every direction all at once, and that is exactly where the investigation begins. Ahead lies the work of mapping its terrain. Every assumption should be questioned, every gesture examined. Nothing can be taken at face value. The investigation has only begun.